r/AskReddit created by routinereddit. What is a cause of death you certainly don't want to die from? John Jones, who got stuck upside down in a super tight cave passage and Utor and rescuers couldn't get him out, so they had to just let him die and then sealed the cave up. Yeah, not my ideal bucket kicking. I'm so glad I quit caving after my birth. And there's his head. Wait, no, that's a helmet and a tiny harness. My god, he's holding a sack of precious gems. I can't take being upside down for 10 seconds without feeling extremely uncomfortable in my head. I can't imagine being like that for hours. Not just 4 hours, until you die. I can't imagine how intense the pain must have been. Literally unthinkable what he went through. If that were me, I'd want them to fill the area where I was with nitrous oxide or a similar gas that renders you unconscious, and then you just die. Drown in the mud like soldiers during World War I. Oh screw that. I heard Dan Cullen's podcast on Passional, and the unmitigated horror of slowly drowning in mud over the course of a few days haunts my sleep. They begged their brothers in arms to shoot them. Mind giving more detail? Why were they drowning in the mud? During an attack they got injured in the no man's land. No one could go out to get them, because they would be shot. The injured took cover in shell holes, then it started to rain, and they couldn't get out. On the Carpathian front, Austria-Hungary vs Russia, soldiers could hear the wounded being attacked by wolves at night in no man's land. I can't imagine the guilt their comrades must felt, knowing that they were within sight of each other, but being unable to help. World War I wasn't great. Edit. Please stop telling me it was called the Great War, I already knew that. Tiny bit of understatement there. Being skinned. Edit. I mean it like being flayed while fully conscious. A naked man has few secrets, a flayed man, none. House Bolton. Week's description in A Dance with Dragons of having the skin flayed from your finger and the excruciating pain that forces you to eventually bite it off. But if you bite it off, Ramsay flays another. That's the crap of true nightmares. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. Rabies. I did some in-depth research a couple years ago, and it is utterly horrifying to say the least. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And there are almost no cases of people surviving once the virus has entered the nervous system. I had a uncle or something like that who had rabies. He had to get like 30 or so shots of a stuff that helps against rabies. He survived but like 30 freaking shots. I'm not even man enough to get my blood taken. Edit. Asked my mom about it. Apparently he was bitten by a fox. I think the fox had rabies, but I'm not sure about that. He got preventative shots. Once symptoms show you are dead, or if 1 in a million lucky, just severely brain damaged. Source for those insisting that only one person has survived rabies. He didn't actually have rabies. What happens after potential exposure is that the victim is given ready-made immune cells to fight any bit of virus that might be in the system / keep up a sort of stopgap, and several doses of vaccine over several days to provide a much stronger bulwark. The aim of both of these treatments is to prevent the virus from entering the CNS. Glowworms. The way they kill their prey is one of the most painful ways to die in the animal kingdom. They use the silk stands to attract prey, paralyze them, drill a hole in the side of their head and fill their insides with stomach acid, then leave them for 2 weeks to digest. Nature's slow cooker. More like nature's freaking psychopath. Edit. Thanks for the silver, it's useful. Why not both? I wish I was a glowworm. A glowworm's never glum, cause how can you be grumpy when the sun shines out your bum? Fortunately this is a very unlikely death for a human being. I remember reading about this guy that fell into a pit of concrete powder and he inhaled some of it. It set in his lungs, causing him to very slowly and painfully suffocate. Wet concrete is also a chemical reaction. He was burned to death, lungs first. Yep, concrete burns, not fun. Never touch setting concrete with bare skin. Edit. I'm getting a lot of responses on this saying what about kids who put their handprints in concrete and stuff along those lines. Yeah, mixed wet concrete isn't the worst. It might irritate your skin a bit but maybe not even that. Prolonged contact like mixing and stuff with bare skin can really burn you bad. Chemical burns aren't fun. I've never been told this and that's insanely important. I hadn't been told this and spent a day cementing walls. Driving home I could barely hold the steering wheel due to burns. And then the first aid tip? Dip your hands in water with lemon juice, as it is an alkaline burn. Open wounds and that is not fun. Mixed with the dehydrating qualities of concrete, your hands would have been cracked to the heck. Then lemon juice, lol. I get why you're back to shoveling hay. Being tortured. I just want a quick AHHH and lights out. Call it a day. Not even a AHHH, just a quick peekaboo, take me out. A flying guillotine's blade straight to the back of the neck. Screw that. Go to sleep comfortably and just never wake up. No idea that I died at all. It's the only way I want to go. Everything else is painful and scary. That still takes about a minute or so. Yeah. I say something quick like a gunshot's the way to go, if any. Hugging a nuclear bomb when it is detonated would be a pretty soothing way to go. I don't know. It could turn you into a gal and you'd still be alive. Only if you're a ways away. I'm gonna get all up in that stuff and just instantly vaporize. Getting buried alive. This whole thread is making me extremely anxious. This has put my claustrophobia into high gear. Glad I'm up for work or I'd have horrid nightmares. If you wake up in a coffin, that means you are either not underground yet or you just got buried, since you would have suffocated if that wasn't the case. Coffins are not made to last, they usually break at one point under the pressure of the soil as it settles. So try to move your body as sideways as you can and kick or punch the side panels of the coffin. It will eventually break and then you can dig up through the fresh ground. If you lose track of where is up and where is down, remember that the soil always falls downwards, so just dig in the other direction. Drowning is one of my worst fears. Drowning is a process that can take up to a few minutes before you pass out. Must feel like ages. It's even scary to think about it. It's one of those experiences that will stay with you the whole life. I mean, if you start drowning but then survive, you most likely will be afraid of water your whole life. If you die by drowning, you pretty surely will remember it for the rest of your life. Once when I was 9, I was sitting on my friend's shoulders in a lazy river at a pool, and she said something so funny that I fell off her back and I accidentally laughed underwater, inhaling a bunch of water, and even once I resurfaced I still couldn't breathe. It was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. I thought I was going to drown in the open air because there was so much water in my lungs. Luckily it never translated into a fear of water, but I'll never forget the sensation. Kinda crazy that if you suck in water through one hole it's healthy, but if you suck in water in the other 2 holes you die. Enemas aren't that healthy though. Being put in a big metal container naked, then having the container get heated by a fire. It would be way worse than just being caught on fire. Like the Brazen Bull. Perillus of Athens invented and proposed it to Phalaris, the tyrant of Acragas, Sicily, as a new means of executing criminals. Stories allege after finishing construction on the execution device, Perillus said to Phalaris, "His screams will come to you through the pipes as the tenderest, most pathetic, most melodious of bellowings." Perillus believed he would receive a reward for his invention. Instead, Phalaris, who was disgusted by these words, ordered its horn sound system to be tested by Perillus himself, tricking him into getting in the bull. When Perillus entered, he was immediately locked in, and the fire was set so that Phalaris could hear the sound of his screams. Before Perillus could die, Phalaris opened the door and took him away. After freeing him from the bull, Phalaris is then said to have taken Perillus to the top of a hill and thrown him off, killing him. Phalaris himself is claimed to have been killed in the Brazen Bull when he was overthrown by Telemachus, the ancestor of Theron. No thank you. What? Oh, I just wanna see how it works. Can you climb up there for a second? I promise I won't close the door. And then he honey-dicked him by taking him out only to then throw him off a cliff. What a power play. Outstanding move. Fire. It would be worse to survive it. Considering how much of a wimp I'm from even small burns you get while cooking and baking, it would be heck to survive. TBH, if the burns were bad enough I don't think it would be as painful. My friend has self-inflicted burn marks, and she said the ones that don't hurt are the bad ones because the nerve has been damaged. But in saying that, it would be so horrible.